It begins, as it so often does, with water. On a quiet morning off the coast of Lampedusa, an Italian island in the Mediterranean, fishermen discover a half-sunken boat crammed with people. Some are alive, clinging to planks. Others are not. The Coast Guard arrives, politicians issue statements, and the news cycles briefly fill with images of blankets, body bags, and weary survivors. By next week, the cameras will be gone. But the movement continues. Another boat will come tomorrow, and another after that. On the other side of the world, a mother and her 2 children walk through the Sonoran Desert along the US-Mexico border. Their guide has vanished. Their water is almost gone. In Washington, the debate rages about walls, asylum backlogs, and whether America can or should absorb more migrants. Yet still, families move north. Walls may rise, laws may tighten, but the flow does not stop. These 2 scenes are not isolated crises. They are part of a single story, a world in motion, colliding with the illusion of control. Western nations frame immigration as a battle, a fight to defend borders or regain sovereignty. It is often called a war against smugglers, against chaos, against the invasion. But unlike other wars, this one has no decisive victory. No surrender will be signed. The truth is simpler and harder. Immigration is not a war at all. It is a force of history. Western governments spend billions each year to police borders. Fences rise in Arizona, Greece, and Hungary. Naval patrols sweep the Mediterranean. Politicians promise crackdowns, deportations, and zero tolerance. But beneath the speeches and the steel lies a quiet fact. Immigration continues to rise. Not because borders are weak, but because the pressures driving people across them are stronger. Populations in Europe, North America, and East Asia are shrinking. Factories, farms, and hospitals cannot find enough workers. At the same time, entire regions of Africa, South Asia, and Latin America are exploding with young populations and collapsing under unemployment, conflict, and climate disasters. In this equation, migration is not a choice, it is an inevitability. When COVID-19 swept across the world, Western leaders used a new phrase: essential workers. Nurses, cleaners, delivery drivers, farmhands, many of them immigrants, many of them undocumented. The invisible became visible, if only briefly. This is the paradox. Western economies cannot function without immigration, even as their politics declare war on it. Agriculture in the United States depends on migrant labor. Europe's healthcare system leans on Filipino, African, and Eastern European workers. Technology hubs like Silicon Valley and London thrive on global talent. The war on immigration is thus fought with one hand, while the other quietly welcomes it. Behind the headlines lies a deeper architecture. Immigration isn't just shaped by who crosses a border. It is shaped by corporations, treaties, and history itself. Remittances. Migrants send billions of dollars back home each year. For some countries, like Nepal and El Salvador, these payments are larger than foreign aid or exports. Shutting migration would mean economic collapse abroad and greater instability for the West. Colonial legacies. Many migration routes are simply the ghosts of empire. Algerians to France, Indians and Pakistanis to Britain, Latin Americans to Spain. The past is still flowing into the present. International law. After World War II, Western nations signed treaties protecting refugees. Today, those laws bind them. No matter how loud the politics, asylum seekers cannot simply be turned away without breaking the very human rights frameworks the West claims to uphold. What looks like chaos is in fact a system, messy, costly, but strangely durable. By 2050, in many Western countries, 1/3 or more of the population will be immigrants or the children of immigrants. This is not invasion, it is renewal. It is how societies survive demographic collapse, how economies keep running, and how cultures evolve. But it is also a profound transformation. It will challenge identities, strain politics, and provoke backlash. The war on immigration is, in truth, a war over what the West will become. This book argues that the war cannot be won because it was never truly a war. Immigration is not an enemy. It is a force of history, like industrialization, like globalization, like climate change. It can be managed wisely or chaotically, humanely or cruelly, but it cannot be stopped. This journey begins with the surface, demographics, economics, and the visible flows of people. It then moves deeper, the hidden forces of corporations, remittances, colonial ties, and law. Finally, it turns to the future, climate migration, technological paradoxes, and the redefinition of Western identity. Through case studies, narratives, and analysis, we will see immigration not as a problem to be solved, but as a reality to be understood. We live in an age of movement. Borders may shift, walls may rise, but people will keep moving. The choice before the West is not whether migration happens, but whether it is embraced as part of a shared future or resisted until the cost becomes unbearable. And so the question is not, will the West win the war on immigration? The question is, what happens when it accepts there was never a war to win? Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more.